Election watchdogs in Zimbabwe have raised concerns over the concluded by-elections. The observers say the run-up to the poll was dominated by violence and alleged vote buying.
Overall, ERC and ZANU observers reported that the election day was peaceful generally and generally well administered, but with concerns about community cohesion in rural areas undermining the right to vote. ERC and ZANU recorded high turnout as well as high vote share for a single party at multiple rural polling stations across Murewa South and Mtasa South when compared to their respective constituents' turnout and vote shares. These are indicators of community cohesion.
From Mtasa South, our SBO observers reported high turnout and vote share for a number of polling stations. While the average turnout from Mtasa was approximately 35%, all of those polling stations we are talking about had a turnout of over 50%. At the same time, over 90% of votes were cast for one candidate in those polling stations, and that candidate was a ZANU-PF candidate, while for the constituents as a whole, ZANU-PF received only slightly over 50% of the votes. These are indicators of community cohesion and that voters were not able to freely participate in the election. Given that the official margin of victory was only 549 votes, this community cohesion undermines the credibility of the Mtasa South election and the legitimacy of the outcome.
ZANU-PF has denied these allegations, particularly in rural areas where the party performed well. The party also said criticism on the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission was unfair and called on all stakeholders to accept the results.
You saw what happened in rural areas. People were voting according to their self-registers. So if that is the case, thank you for giving us a premonition. We will make sure that our structures reach out to those people so that they go and vote. In the meantime, there is another part whose leader says, I have no ideology, Nelson. Whose leader says, I have no strategy, Nelson Namaere.
So the greatest problem was apathy. We are also going to be looking at other things like messaging, other things like the particular strategy that we adopted in this very election, which was different from the strategies that we have used traditionally. We got our strategy wrong, and somebody was saying that how come you got strategies wrong? And here's my answer. Lionel Messi misses a penalty, doesn't he? Maradona misses a penalty, doesn't he? So strategists can get strategies wrong as well.
The leader of the new party, Nelson Chamisa, is not happy.
We still are not happy with this by-election. So it's magnanimity in victory. We do appreciate that we won, but winning in an unfair election does not make the election free and fair. We still need the election to be free and fair. Yes, we have had a landslide, but that does not move away from the fact that the elections in this country need fundamental reforms around the voters' roll, the credibility of the voters' roll, around the issues of making sure that results are managed in a better way, polling stations are not subjected to the violence, intimidation that we have seen.
16 political parties contested these by-elections, which are seen by many as a preview of next year's presidential election. Sophie Mukwena, SABC News.